that, but usually we see them going for the Midas into the Radiance. That is the more common build, and of course Radiance is quite nice to pick up versus the Faceless Void because he doesn't like missing inside his Chronosphere. He doesn't really want to build an MKB just for that, so it's a nice little 17%. So, fourth pick for Na'Vi. They need themselves, well, I mean, themselves a whole bunch of different things. I mean, it depends where this Tiny's going. It can go in the 4th position, or it can go in the mid. Of course, we don't know what's coming out for JFS just yet. They could put the Leshrac in the mid lane. But Na'Vi, they're just going to grab their 4th position, and they'll take the Ogre Magi to fill in that role. Ogre plus Void, it's a classic. They love picking this 2 heroes up, and everybody does, because it's just... Void loves attack speed. Ogre Magi gives attack speed. I really don't think there's much more to the combo than that. I mean, Ogre Magi is nice in lane as well. They can both just be very, very tanky, absorb a lot of harass. My only issue here is that it is someone who doesn't like laning up versus Undying particularly. I mean, any strength support, any strength hero in a lane against Undying is going to be having a bad time. I say that, I think Ogre Magi is actually in, so never mind, he's fine. He's fine up in the top lane. He's supremely tanky, but I'm fairly sure he isn't in here. Which doesn't make sense, really, when the guy's got, like, what, 8 starting armor? And, like, a ridiculous amount of health coming out the barracks. Madness. So, yeah, Undying is pretty sad. So you've also got the attack speed. I would like to see a ranged hero on Na'Vi who can take down that Tombstone a little bit easier. You don't really want the Void coming in, dropping that Chronosphere, and then having to go and hit a Tombstone. That's not an ideal situation.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds.
You need one more hero to come out and be that Tombstone hitter for sure. So, Outward Devourer banned out from JFS. That hero away. I mean, you don't want to get the surprise OD pick. Nobody does. Even in the even if they do get to respond to it, there's no hero. I mean, it's basically just oh well, guess I'm picking Sniper. It's pretty much what happens when OD comes out now. There are a couple of other heroes who are okay versus him, but Sniper does seem to be the big pickup here. But talking of which, actually, Na'Vi could really use a Sniper pick. Sniper Void with the Ogre Magi gives them something to kill the Tombstone with. I can see it. I also want to mention that the Gyrocopter is completely untouched. Okay, they go for the Lina instead, unfolding into the draft. So she's going to be the final pickup for Na'Vi and their mid laner. Again, you know, offers that Tombstone hitting potential, offers a bit of lockdown as well, which they were a little bit light on previously with the Warlock, not really offering much other than the ultimate. Gives them some nice kind of high-paced hero to play around in the mid lane as well. You know, the Void can go and farm, the Tiny, the Lina, the Yoga, they can all go off on a happy little gank squad and basically just leave the Void in the jungle. It's exactly what you want to do when Void has that Chronosphere on cooldown or when he's just looking for his next item, making sure he gets those timings. Na'Vi will be able to make the space for him. Also slightly annoying hero for Wraith King to play against, I suppose. Lina can just drop down the Light Strike array when he's respawning, super annoying, but you know, you always need to look at catch when there's a Lina in the game. They have got the Sand King, but where's the follow-up damage going to come from? I mean, Leshrac's not going to be buying a Blink Dagger or anything like that, so... that is a little bit awkward. It's looking like a pretty free Lina game, so...
You may now select your heroes.
Shadow Fiend going to be the final pickup. I gotta say, that seems like a pretty ballsy pick, taking the Shadow Fiend into the Lina there. Wow, that's I mean, typically Lina does very well versus Shadow Fiend, but of course, oh, it's not actually. Okay, they're still going for the Tiny mid, right? Magical's picked up the Tiny, so he's going to be heading to the mid lane, and Zayat is on the Lina. So Shadow Fiend is going to be laning up versus the Tiny, which is slightly better for him, to be honest. I wouldn't be too mad about that one.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I'm fairly happy with this Shadow Fiend pick now. Actually, with the tinier mid, I think this is a fairly nice hero. I mean, the only thing is you do put a lot of pressure on Pikachu to have a good time in this middle lane. If he doesn't have a good time in the middle lane, then you don't really have a hero to play around. The Wraith King doesn't really want to be a frontliner. Tanking can kind of do that for you, but doesn't feel particularly nice to be playing around, having your tanking be the only hero you can play around whilst Shadow Fiend recovers in the jungle. But they can do that, they can push pretty hard and try and make some space. I mean, Undying, Leshrac, Sand is a pretty strong trio of heroes, and they can definitely go around together and find some kills. That isn't a concern. My concern is that NaVi just seem to have a slightly better pacing to the game. I can tell what they want to do more. I feel like the Shadow Fiend and this Wraith King are kind of going to clash with one another a little bit. Especially if Pikachu doesn't have an amazing lane, then he is going to feel very weird. There is Pikachu, brother of Iceberg. And Tiny be played by Magical. NaVi, I mean, I want to talk about this team a little bit. Is this their season? Is this when they're going to be coming out of the kind of qualifiers and the minors and into the big leagues? I mean, there's definitely space now with the big rearrangements going on in Virtus Pro. If they can take this opportunity and use their kind of more solid, less changing, less volatile roster and get themselves a couple of spaces on this first DPC season, then that would be absolutely fantastic for them. But of course, Virtus Pro did just get a free 2-0. Not entirely, I mean, they probably would have got the 2-0 anyway. It's an open qualifier stack and everything. But yeah, NaVi definitely have the harder matchup in the first place. And the fact that VP just get the free win makes it a little bit more pressure. But, more time to go for a bit of practice was important. That's some Pasha coming up here now. There is kill potential on 178 here.
30 seconds to battle.
They've got the 2 stuns, a setup stun for the Split Earth. If they can take away a bit of strength whilst doing so, it's very possible they could result in a kill. Yeah, 25 starting strength and 3.5 strength per level, but not a strength hero. Just normal Ogre Magi things. And, well, in comes the Undying. Stun's going to connect as well. Splitter Earth to follow. Just about catches him here. Light Strike Array only landing onto the Wraith King, but Pasha is absolutely fine. It's not a hero you really want to go on, but they do force him off the runes, and they'll grab themselves the 2 bounty runes down here in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, grabbing 1 at top as well, making it 3 for J178 to start things off. So they have a net worth advantage. Can't take that away from them. King is going to TP back to the lane as well, just to make sure he's nice and safe, nice and snuggly with his creeps, and not having to make any desperate runs and taking loads of harass damage from the Warlock. That wouldn't be fun. And now let's look over to the mid lane. So the problem which usually happens with this lane is that the Tiny is going to just bully with the tree grab, and Pikachu's not going to get a whole lot in this first wave, but that's why he's gone for the Shadow Raise instead. No chance of him getting... Ooh, might have missed that creep. Has to use the second raise for it. A little bit expensive to use 2 raises for 1 creep there, but just trying to be efficient, dropping that circlet and keeping that mana high to try and make sure he can stay in the CS. I mean, he's getting some nice, actually, last hits in just with his right clicks here, which is quite impressive considering he's got 46 damage and a ranged here. It's a mean combination. He's able to pick up a range creep there as well. Now the Avalanche comes down just to secure that 1 more for Magical. He's playing the lane very well as well, but Pikachu, I mean, fantastic start for him, getting every CS under the tower. 6-0. At the bottom, there's not much they can... I mean, this is a really brutal lane, the Ogre Magi and the Lina, as I was about to say there. He's just going to Bloodlust up the Lina. She's got the range to just throw down the Harasser. Even though it is an Undying who's very strong in lane, there's still going to be a fair amount of damage coming out onto him. And look at that, just his strength is disappearing now. They've able to get a ton of harass down. And the Ogre is actually the one farming. It's the one being played by Pasha, so he's going to be looking for some items this game. Maybe Midas, God help us, as the stun comes down to the Undying, and the stun onto Ogre Magi at the same time, but Pasha, he doesn't care. He's just going to keep on waddling towards them, threatening Ogre. Diets gets the pull. Happy a little bit too late to contest that. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Pikachu getting very low here to Magical. Magical just unloading with the full combo on him, but unable to secure a kill. And Pikachu will head up to top. He's just had that bottle delivered to him. A really nice timing on the bottle as well. A really nice start to the lane from Pikachu, actually. I'm very impressed. And he can really run over this matchup if he doesn't give the Shadow Fiend time to get into the lane, or if Shadow Fiend does get into the lane, then he gets killed off by a combo. That hasn't happened. Pikachu's kept himself alive, and that is really critical. And now the next few levels will be probably pretty much fine for Pikachu. I'm not too worried about him anymore. Well, up in the top lane. Void currently on 10-3 with Petashara on 15-1, but Crystallize, he's just taking a couple of creeps under tower. If he gets all these, he'll be more or less caught up. Jesus. That ain't good English. No Englando. Down at the bottom, the harass just continuing onto Palantimos. Relentless pressuring onto the Wraith King. And this is a Wraith King actually picking up a Bazzi, which I find interesting. We see a lot of 4 positions pick this up, a lot of 3 positions pick this up, a lot of heroes in general picking up this Ring of Bazzi just because it offers so much damage. And of course, a little bit of mana regeneration, a little bit of armor, just a really strong all-round laning item. Even if you don't build ends or anything, it's still really nice. So Palantimos just said, yeah, screw it, I'm a carry. I want that extra damage, but then comes the Fire Blast and stop him getting that creep. I don't feel that could have been used better to stop the range creep, but yeah, whatever. You find your value where you can. Yeah, this bottom lane going pretty well for NaVi so far, but not a total shutout. I mean, that's kind of the lane across the map, right? Like, that's kind of the situation across the map. There is an advantage in each lane, but nothing absolutely huge. And Bignum, he's actually found Seneko in the river here, but unfortunately this is looking like a level 1 Diabolic Edict, so it's really not doing a lot of DMGs to poor old Seneko here, who's just tanking it, and easily winning this trade with the heals coming out onto himself. Magical gets himself a double damage rune. Pikachu does have to be careful of this one. Oh, it's a real classic mid matchup here. They both got a bottle. We're battling out for the runes. Take me back to 2014. Guys, it feels really tense in this middle lane. I mean, it should just be a case of Magical coming forward just to steal up the CS with pre-grab whenever it's available and avalanche and stuff like that. And that's about how he plays the lane. And as you can see, the CS is just even in this middle lane, which definitely favors the Shadow Fiend. I mean, Tiny really wants to kind of shut out a lane if he can. If he can't, then he's probably just going to hang around until he can find some nice rotations. Might even be holding on to his damage rune to see if he can maybe go to top or bottom, you know, TP in or something like that, and really open up some opportunities. Meanwhile, down in the bottom lane, there's your first blood going onto Palantimos. They do have the damage there. A bit of a brawl happening down here, and unfortunately, Palantimos just not keeping an eye on his health closely enough. Meanwhile, up at top as well, that's a TP out on the Warlock, keeping him nice and healthy. Yeah, for those of you wondering about saying that the stream is delayed, we have the correct stream delay. So if the Russian stream is ahead, then there's something fishy going on there. So yeah, that should be sorted for the next game, I would imagine. Probably before then even. They might actually have to take the stream down because the official delay is 5 minutes. So look at all these guys. Everyone's playing really evenly right now, which has got to feel pretty good for J178. So close. The biggest difference between the two carries, right? Wraith King, he's sitting on 26, and Crystallize is sitting on 25. And the Wraith King has died as well, which is going to put him a little bit further behind on net worth compared to the Void. But a very quiet laning phase. Only 1 kill so far. Kind of playing up very passively against one another. NaVi maybe starting to pull ahead a little bit, especially with that kill, that first blood, but very quiet laning phase. But an interesting one. There's still plenty to talk about here, and I think another thing to talk about here is Petashara going straight for the Veil, which I really like. And Seneko, a little bit of miscommunication here amongst these two. Seneko's like, hell yeah, let's kill him, and Crystallize's like, run away. A little bit of, yeah, not quite on the same page here, singing from the same hymn sheet. Magical still doing his best to try and bully Pikachu in mid, but Pikachu, he's got the razors on him right now, but now he's out of mana, so can't get another one off. It doesn't really matter. Magical still has plenty of health using that stick. And Pikachu, he's actually heading on home here. He's going to walk all the way back after all those creeps just dying under tower. I'm really surprised about this, but Bignum comes in to absorb the XP and get the CS as well, so Pretty efficient, I guess. They only miss out on a couple between each other. Interesting, though. Pikachu. Wow. Double braced on the Shadow Fiend. This is a guy that just doesn't want to be comboed up by the Tiny. He just doesn't want to have that Tiny be able to bring him 100 to 0. Which is fair enough, really. It's honestly speaking. Usually we see people go for the raindrops, but it's not fantastic versus Tiny because I believe it will just pop in the first hit of Zayat's walking through. He's in a dangerous place right now, but nice job stunning up Bignum, the one who can hold him back, the one who can get that catch. And Zayat's will be able to secure this bottom power rune for Magical if it spawns here, which it do not. And I think Pikachu is going to be able to get to the top rune quicker, though Magical does have the phase boots. Oh my god, it's a tense... no, mind, it's not tense at all. It stops to throw a treat. And, oh, hello, Seneko. He's going to grab that one. But Seneko needs to be a little bit careful here. In fact, I think he's just dead. Yep, there you go. Third raise comes out. Seneko just kind of forgetting that raises were a thing and trying to fight up, face tank the Shadow Raises with his illusions. Probably the damage was spread, hey. Then it wouldn't have been a problem. Oh, well. A little bit of a clumsy death there, I'd say, from the NaVi captain. Now stun coming down onto the Ogre Magi. Wow, they're really going for this one. Dropping down the tombstone and everything. But Zaz is coming in from behind, trying to take down the tombstone with Bignum on top of him. He can't really sit there and focus it. But Pasha, he is still plenty healthy. I mean, they just tanked everything there on NaVi. And now they actually look to turn around maybe. But I don't really think there's much kill potential. Zaz's pretty low on mana as well. So very tricky for them to really go for anything here. He is the one with the Ring of Badzi. Gonna give him... Oh, toss... Oh, okay, that's just Magical nuking a creep wave. There's a little bit of an awkward rotation, but maybe they can take the tier 1 tower. It's really healthy, so it'll take them a while. And now the TP's coming in from the Shadow Fiend here, and the stun is out onto the Tiny. Light Strike Array comes down the Shadow Fiend. Now the stun follow-up from Pasha as well, and now the Avalanche as well. Pikachu can't do anything. He TP's in just to get stun locked as the rest of NaVi run themselves away. They realize where the danger is. They take that factor away and get themselves out safely. Meanwhile, pressure coming in the mid lane, but from Seneko. So, yeah, maybe not so pressure is a very light touch in the mid lane, but still. And there's still a fight going on here. It's actually Palantimos is taken to the front lines here, and the multicast on the stun. It's going to bring him down for the first time. Meanwhile, Happy Dioro is just going to come around the back and try and steal the bouncer rune, but then decides against it, realizing that he was probably going to get stunned and killed off. So gives away the bouncer rune, and Palantimos dies. It comes back to life. A very uneventful rotation down the bottom, to be honest with you. No one's dying. Now, Magical, he's trying to avoid the third Shadow Raid there, but not really in too much danger of that actually happening to him. Prayed in some spells. Meanwhile, Petashara stealing Crystallizer's farm. Very naughty. Oh, in the old chat. No. I mean, I'm already trying. Stealing farm is very triggering. Pikachu is getting caught out a little bit here. Magical with the combination coming through. Crystallize going to have to drop that ulti to stop Shadow Fiend getting the Requiem off. Can they bring him down, though? He's so tanky with these braces, but they will be able to get the kill. But Bignum's coming in from behind. Finally, the TP is coming in from 178. Can they actually get a return kill here, though? They need to decide on a target, and they need to choose one now. And they're going to look towards the Warlock. And Warlock, they'll happily leave Seneko behind. Seneko is probably like, yeah, just leave it, guys. I'm happy to take the full here. Warlock will fall, but in return for a Shadow Fiend, that is a very nice trade for NaVi. Very surprised. That was under a shrine. It still took J178 a long time to get the heroes in. But I mean, I guess when the Chronosphere is covering up the entire shrine, you don't really want to just TP in to a stun. That's never a good idea. We'll leave the CS chart as it is right now with the Shadow Fiend and the Void drawing on top, and then the Tiny, the Sand King. Everybody has a lot of money, okay, guys? Everybody has a lot of money, and the net worth chart unsurprisingly does reflect this. I mean, Palantimos a little bit behind, but we are just all neck and neck up here, and Crystallize a little bit in front after that kill onto the Shadow Fiend. So he's also got the Midas as well, so Crystallize is going to be an issue. As well, picking the Shadow Fiend into Void is an interesting one as well, because generally that's not a hero which Shadow Fiend likes playing against particularly, but Yeah, the two braces did fantastically earlier on. It caused a lot needed to bring him down rather than just a chrono as Zayat's again jumps upon here, trying to run himself away. And in comes Magical to try and save the day. And they're actually looking to turn this one around. They know Plansmo still doesn't have this ultimate, but Zayat's will go down. Gets off the ultimate before he does so. Magical going to find him in the tree with the toss, with the sword coming out. They'll be able to grab that kill. Plansmo will fall. Again, NaVi just finding these lovely little trades across the map. I mean, they're losing heroes, but the things they're getting in return, absolutely fantastic. Lina will return to the middle lane. Wow, it's having a pretty active game considering how passive the game's been 1-1-1, and considering their team's had 3 kills, that's not so bad. Both teams 3-3 right now, but NaVi definitely finding the more value pickoffs, which puts them a slight bit ahead on net worth, and with this Midas as well, they'll be clawing their way forwards a little bit, but definitely feel like this game is hanging in the balance, which is kind of surprising as, you know, usually when you see a more experienced team come up against, you know, a less experienced team, less skilled team, then the laning phase is when it really shows. Usually, you'll come out with a team just hugely ahead of the other after the laning phase, but that's not the case this game. I think partly it's due to the fact what NaVi drafted. I think other than the bottom lane, nothing was really kind of lane dominating. Tiny can be if he gets an advantage, but Pikachu played the lane really well. And other than that, oh, we have an epicenter coming through. They're going to try and go onto both of them here, but the stun actually misses Zayas, but they're going to target down the Ogre anyway, and he will actually fall, and Zayas taking some damage, and the Urn going to catch him out as well. But they didn't quite have enough to finish the job. Now Magical's trying to come in, look for a return kill, and he should find one, and they're just going to use a Laguna Blade. I don't even think... Did the damage even come through from the Laguna? Nope. No, he did not. So that was just a cosmetic Laguna Blade. Still, again, finding the trades. Always finding the trades as Magical tries to come up on Bignum here, but Bignum, he's a tanky boy. Grabbing the infused raindrops does help him out nicely as bottom tier 1 towers starting to get beat down here. And see, this is just so much more value. I mean, don't forget, it was jfshfh178 which started this engagement. They're the ones which wanted to take the fight down at bottom. They push hard, they get themselves a kill onto Yoga Magi, and then NaVi come back and they get the kill onto the Sand King, and now they get the tower as well. So, very, very slight advantages. And then again, J178 also took their top tower way, way earlier than NaVi did. They took the tier 1 a long time ago. So maybe we need to look towards this middle tower to define who's actually getting the advantage in this game. I'm always cognizant of this Midas Void, which is obviously going to be farming pretty hard, and he's playing around with his team quite a lot as well. You know, he's being active, farming aggressively when he has his chrono, and now he can come in and maybe help out Zayats here. The 2-man stun from Zayats is actually pretty brilliant. They're looking to turn on Bignum, and they'll be able to grab that kill. Now looking over towards Petashara as well. Nice stun. Nice stun! Double stun lock coming out, and now the chrono will follow up as well. So Neko, he's just partying. He's supporting his boy, but unfortunately that allows Petashara to get himself away, trying to eat through the trees, but nice blink away. Going south, Petashara needs to run, and now Soneko, he needs to kill these creeps real quick. The Fatal Bonds, it's not connecting. He gets out. Oh no. Petashara gets away, and that is because, I'm sorry Soneko, but you could have casted the Shadow Word, you could have thrown in some right clicks, but instead he decided to cast Upheaval, which turned out not to be the play. You know, Upheaval on top of Chrono, it's an interesting one. Didn't really go his way in the end. We'll leave it there. Nice fortify there just to annoy the Tiny. About sending a message, you know, when Tiny tries to combo up a creep wave and you fortify it, he feels bad, you feel good. And look at this tower just absolutely disintegrate. Ah, you laugh away, Leshrac. You're a pretty good hero, and they don't actually ward up there. Huh, interesting. Was he pretending? Gonna come back and give it another go? What are they doing? They're just struggling to get the ward up? Hello? Okay. Can you not ward up there anymore or something? They seem to be really confused about that. There are like 2 of them trying to get a ward down. I don't know what's going on. Meanwhile, Pikachu on the front line, stunned up. He has got... Oh my god, the Golem, though, coming down on top of the Magical just initiates into the fight. Pikachu still trying to get the ultimate. Will be able to do so. Magical dropping so low with the Epicenter on top of them as well. They've got a ton of damage coming out. They'll be able to take down Magical, but Pikachu's also dead. Pasha going to follow. Looking like Navi might be losing this fight. And there's your Epicenter finally coming through. Trying to find Crystallize, but CIS is dead. And Saneko just going to get run down as well. 4 heroes taken out from Navi as jfshfh178. They managed to find a hell of a fight up here on the top lane. I mean, it looked good from Navi. I was team Navi for the start of that fight. The initiation was strong, but with Shadow Fiend still managing to get the ultimate off, I mean, that just can't be allowed to happen in that situation. He tried to go for the combo, which didn't work out at all, but it didn't really matter in the end. Crystallize immediately going for that BKB after the Maelstrom, so a very defensive build, kind of feeling like he wants to fight. And that's a pretty big hit, honestly. Ah yes, level 12 Tiny. Ugh, so slow. The what's his attack speed like? 2.5 attacks. So 1 attack every 2.5 seconds. In the space of 10 seconds to be able to attack 4 times. Oh no, Big Num just walking down the steps at the wrong time there, and this is going to be a freebie. CIS, he decides that he wants that kill. Claims it with the Laguna Blade. I guess he can't really argue with that. Better than the cosmetic one we had earlier, to be fair. Oh, pressure going to be coming on the mid tier 2 now. Well, NaVi come to defend it easily enough, but their lanes are getting pushed in pretty hard. They go for a little adventurous kill, but they can't really turn it into any kind of objective because the lane's just all pushed out. Again, you know, the quiet, slow game still continuing. Saneko, he wants to grab himself a bracer to make sure he can survive on the sidelines of these fights.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
He's really trying to farm hard for this BKB. It's one of those items where, like, I mean, obviously he needs it because it's very difficult to... Ooh, top lane. Kill onto CIS. That was an Epicenter being used, but I mean, Epicenter for a solo kill onto CIS is definitely a win in Pedishira's books.
Dire are scanning. Dire's middle tower.
But yeah, back to the BKB on Void. That is an interesting one because it's just like... Void doesn't particularly like building BKB. It doesn't feel fantastic for him. It doesn't really help with his damage much. You know, he's an Agi hero as well, so he doesn't really benefit from the Ograk's strength. You know, it gives him a bit of health, but not much extra damage. It's just not a fantastic item, but at the same time, you know, with the Shadow Fiend in the game, who's got this Yule Scepter as well, he might be able to 100-0 him. I'm not sure. I don't think so. Not quite, but... I don't know, actually. It's...
Tower is under attack.
I've seen it 100-0 Wraith King the other day, so... Still, I don't know. It feels like the BKB still seems like a little bit overkill on Crystallize to me. But nonetheless, he's going to go for it. Wants to be able to fight early on. Of course, there's a Leshrac in the game as well. It always sucks if you don't have a BKB and you Chrono or Pulse Novering, Diabolic Edicting Leshrac, and you're just like, well, I can kill this guy. Probably going to lose most of my life for it. Okay, he's not going... Yeah, okay, now things make more sense. He's going for the BKB because he doesn't need the Mjolnir because he's got Bloodlust. I would have thought about that one a little bit earlier, but yeah, that does make a little bit more sense now. That should give him the damage to bring people down in the Chronospheres easily enough.
Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Man, this game is real slow. 19 kills, 22 minutes into the game.
Radiant's middle
We've had one big fight. We've had a few pickoffs coming out, but yeah, it's been a bit of a slow one. As Plantimos, he's steadily making his way towards a Radiance. I haven't really talked about his build at all this game, but yeah, the Armlet instead of the Midas. Hanging out with that casual Bazzi, which I thought he might turn into something, but apparently not. Also sit on the Bazzi. I mean, it's an efficient enough item to do that. And then into the radius immediately afterwards. Looking to repeat that success they had earlier up in this top lane. And some pressure onto that tier 2 tower. NaVi will be forced into a defense, but they've left them a very long time, and this is going to mean that they can hit their timings. I mean, this is Crystallized basically finishing off his BKB. He just needs that last creep here with the Midas, and there you go. BKB finished off, so they can take this fight, but I'm not sure they're going to be here in time as the damage is already coming out onto it, and Big Num positioning himself well with the Edict is going to grab that one. Might just give him his life here as Zayas can land the stun, but Big Num juking out quite nicely, but with everybody else TPing in, it's goodbye, sir. Magical will grab it, hitting the floor and dying. But he's happy. Big Num will take that every day of the week. Cool chat coming out between them. You know, it's a nice friendly game. You guys probably know each other quite well from all the pubs and such they play with one another. Yeah, Lesh checks out every day of the week. I mean, you might not have needed to die there necessarily if he just kind of finishes the tower and kind of jukes or gets out, but at the same time, I'm not sure. I think going the least expected way is always the best option. They were definitely planning for him to run back down the lane to where he came from as well, so they were ready for that. I think he ran the only direction where... I'll rephrase. You don't, in a situation like that, you don't want to run in the direction where you're going to get out, because you're never going to get out. You just want to run in the direction which makes the most space, takes the most time. And Pikachu coming in with the BKB, trying to drop the Chrono, but in comes a Golem, in comes the Chronosphere as well. And Shadow Fiend, he's not going to get that ulti off now, but now he can get it off after the sun comes through. Pasha, he's in the middle of the fight, but he's taking so much damage. He's going to be the first one to fall. Meanwhile, Magical, he's going to follow as well. NaVi losing 2 players straight off the bat. So let's go for the TP out. We'll be able to... Oh, no, they find him. Blind stun through the trees, grabs Alina. Pikachu unable to stop the Void getting away. But Zayas will fall, and another fight despite using that Chronosphere and the Golem, but that's what happens when you use both. It's one or the other, guys. You can't stack those spells on top of one another. Otherwise, you've just completely ruined your own team fight there, and now they just run straight into Roche. J178. They are looking scary right now. Crystallizer's just headed south. He's going to go and hit that bottom jungle.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I mean... Pikachu's getting so much work done, you know? He's not doing a whole lot in these fights, but just by running onto the front lines and going, oh, I've got a BKB, I've got a Requiem, you better stop me, guys, you better use your big spells, and then NaVi, oh shit, throw everything at him, and they do, and they just throw the fight because of it, because, you know, those are their big team fight controlling spells. If you can't control these team fights up as NaVi, you know, you have 2 cores, you have Tiny and Void, who need all the control they can get in the team fight. These aren't mobile enough heroes be able to just kind of play a regular team fight where it's all getting split up and everybody's kind of, you know, able to run around and position themselves how they want. And all these stuns coming out on the enemy team as well is really kind of making it tricky for them, so. And not to mention the Undying as well. Throwing down that Tombstone is always going to be a big issue for NaVi. So these big clumped up fights not working in their favor whatsoever despite having these big spells. But yeah, just miss execution. 100% miss execution. So, now they've got a face against the Aegis. And Pikachu, he can grab the Blink if he wants to here. He could go for something else. And, you know, the Blink would kind of complete that, you know, instant pick-off build. Especially if you bought it now because you don't have the Chronosphere or the Golem to cancel it for a little bit. But now, well, actually, they're coming off cooldown literally now. So. Pick them. Right, you're right here, buddy. Oh, the stun actually misses, but they should grab... Oh, no. Oh, no. He's going to have to use the Chronosphere, but, I mean... It's still a kill onto Big Num. Yeah, one of the comments about BKB, you like every Void player will tell you they don't like building BKB on Void. They will avoid it if they can. And unfortunately, it is required in most games. If Chronosphere isn't going to be enough to just straight up win you the fight, which is definitely not in this matchup, then Time Walk isn't going to be enough to help you give that sustainability in the team fight. So, you know, you need the BKB to avoid the stuns to fight up, but it doesn't offer you much in the way of what Void fundamentally wants to do in terms of getting kills inside Chronosphere outputting a lot of damage, and, you know, even controlling out fights, it just doesn't give you any of that. It's not a Skadi, it's not, you know, anything like that, which you'd much rather be working towards.
Have a little humility.
Pedishara. I mean, this Sand King has been playing very, very nicely on the side of... This is a hero I want to talk about a lot, actually, Pedishara. This is the one player who I don't really know. I think I've seen him in some competitive games. In some non-competitive high MMR games, Pedishara. I really don't think I've seen him play. He's the one guy I haven't seen play before on J178 in competitive Dota. And he is doing a marvelous job. He is just always on the back lines. He's always trying to mess with the Tiny, mess with the Lina, you know, these heroes which are vulnerable. And now, well, they go for the Yules, but they don't really need to throw down the combo, even though he could do it for the style points. But Snako, he's going to be picked off by the triple raise. No problems at all. And now then comes a level 20, the 150 Shadow Raise damage, which makes Shadow Fiend just that much stronger. Playing around these talents. Very nice indeed. Meanwhile, there is a split push coming in the top lane. Tower's going down all over the place as Blantimus takes bottom. And Magical takes top. Get a bit of fortify action. But I feel like you kind of want to stay here and keep pushing this one, because you've lost your bottom tower. There's nothing you can do about that. The push is coming, and it is strong. And it's looking like they want to make some use out of its Aegis. They've even got an Arcane Rune, actually, on the Shadow Fiend. This is a little bit terrifying right now. And look at this tower. They're just going to go for it right now. NaVi, they don't have their Warlock. They don't have their ultimate. The Void has just got his Chrono back now. They're losing racks, and NaVi are not here to deal with them. Magical pushing them back, trying to do something here, but the Millerack go down. Beautiful Chrono landing onto 3, but where is the follow-up damage? Magical going to toss them in. They will be able to take down 1. Bignum is gone. That's a lot of that damage taken out. Plantimos is going to die for the first time. Pikachu, he's going to throw down the big ultimate. Didn't pop the Arcane Rune first, and now being controlled up as well. He might die and lose his first life here. Still trying to fight up as Magical with the BKB on the backline. Plantimos looks like he's going to be going down for a second time. They have taken down CIS, but that's about it. Meanwhile, Bignum, and now it looks like Pikachu might be following as well. Tries to get the big combination off onto Crystallize. Mistimes it a little bit. Going for the TP out, and the Void's not there to cancel. So it will be an escape at least for Pikachu, but still a big loss. And Pedishara might need to play some fancy feet right now as he's trying to play around the Sandstorm. Should get out okay. Even turns around to get 3 last hits. Hashtag value. And now the blink away as well, so he's going to be all right. So they commit pretty hard for those bottom barracks, and they still end up losing the buildings, NaVi, but they take a big fight in response. If they can capitalize off this, then maybe get a buyback or something, but Plantimos is back in 30 seconds. He had a messy fight. He probably had the messiest fight out of everybody, just really getting control. I mean, look at all these damage sources, my god. The big sponge in the middle. Meanwhile, Magical, he's going to get beaten up here in the BKB from Pikachu, making sure he doesn't get avalanched up. Magic is trying to be denied here, but unfortunately, that's not going to work this late into the game. The Alpha Wolf crits. Maybe if they got, like, all critted him, they might have been able to take him down, but unfortunately, that was not the case. So, yeah, a BKB charge wasted, but Adafine isn't a hero which actually cares that much about BKB charges, honestly. Obviously, everybody does, but less so the heroes with these big cooldown reduction talents. I mean, basically Drow and Shadow Fiend, they tend to be a little bit more liberal with their BKB usage. Although you probably feel slightly tempted. Wait, did he get... Oh, okay, no, he didn't get Presence or Effects buildings. I mean, that definitely makes sense when you're going for the Yules, but it would have been pretty memes with the Leshrac Edict plus Diabolic. Sorry, plus the Presence of the Dark Lord on buildings. But clearly, they don't need it. Clearly, they haven't needed it at all. Their push is disgusting, especially with this Wraith King. So I'm wondering, Wraith King probably can go for the 2-time skeleton spawn this game. Doesn't look like there's going to be a defusal or anything coming out from anyone, so no chance of him losing his mana. So maybe he just wants to use his spells. Had that in a game once. Wraith King skilled that talent when there was absolutely no mana drain on the enemy team. I was like, why'd you do that, Wraith King? He's like, need mana for do spell. Alrighty, can't argue with that. NaVi looking for some action now. They are bored of being the mouse in this cat and mouse game. They're trying to do their best cat impression right now. And J178, they will be happy to oblige. Walking straight up into them right now. They should meet over by this high ground, but Navi definitely hesitant to break the high ground right now. So they're just going to grab the haste rune. They see there's no one on the map. They're kind of realizing that, okay, there's probably something going on here. We might have made this a little bit too obvious, taken a little bit too long, and they back themselves up quite intelligently, I'd say. Wow, Lesh has a BKB. That's pretty nice. Lesh with the BKB. I think this, if he can get that off before the chrono comes off onto him, then that's going to give him the tankiness he needs to survive it, because he came pretty close to surviving the last chrono as well. I mean, I was expecting these Faithful Bonds. I mean, the last chrono onto 3 heroes, then throwing down the Faithful Bonds on top of them. I was expecting it to do a lot more, but really, they didn't seem to be doing much damage in the slightest, honestly. So... surviving okay. And again, the game just slows right back down again as these teams try and avoid each other. I feel like J178 may be a little bit nervous about throwing their advantage or anything like that. You know, you can tell they're kind of playing as 5. This is more how you'd expect the team who are behind to be playing. You know, grouping up, going for smokes, trying to push into the enemy side of the map, and the other ones that just took racks, but still respecting the fact that there's an even net worth advantage. They know the pace of this game, which is actually pretty impressive to me. Gonna grab these creeps real quick. They have got Zayat here. Maybe Plantimo sees him, and then comes the Burrow Strike. I mean, the self-fuels from Lina gonna save her for about half. Oh my god, that was a that was a meaty crit coming out from Plantimos. Oh, he does go for the no reincarnation mana cost. Well, guess he wants mana for do spell. Fair enough. So, coming up on the next bounty runes, and with that kill, they should be able to secure a couple of them. Although Magical's currently all alone down here at bottom, so maybe he'll be able to grab himself the own ones as they wait for Roshan to respawn. 20 seconds left. There's going to be bounties as Plantimus just chasing Pasha. Yeah, look at Pasha as well. He doesn't really... Oh, he's going for the... Ooh. He's going for a Hex. I like this pickup. You can multicast the Hex. He's used to be getting really unlucky on these Midases, because this is, I mean, not a really farmed ogre. I guess he hasn't had a ton of space on the map, but... Oh, I kind of expect a little bit more from him, but Roshan is back up. They will spot it, and in they go. J178 getting started on the big boy, and is there a response from NaVi? Well, it looks like they're in the area. They need to get over here pretty damn quick, though, because this is not going to take them very long at all. You see how quickly these guys take objectives, and NaVi, they're coming over, but they're not going to be here quickly enough, I don't think. Well, the bash onto Roche, it's making it take a little bit longer than perhaps it should, but down it goes, and in they jump. That's an Aghanims on Magical as well, as he's managed to blink out the way, and now they're grabbing them both inside the Chronosphere. Look at the damage coming down the epicenter, but he's thrown up into the air, so he can't get the stun off, and in comes the big Golem, holding them still, allowing them to kill Bignum, and Plantimos' first life is now gone. Meanwhile, up on the high ground, Pikachu, he's trying to throw down the big ulti, and manages to catch the Faceless Void. They need to finish him off before he gets the time walk and the crit. Plantimos finds it. They look over to Magical as well now, who just has a player on the side of this fight, but they've lost their big Void. They lost most of their damage now. I think they just need to get themselves out. Magical running away. Meanwhile, Happy Dairo will get picked off on the backlines. Now be able to find a cheeky one as J178 split out the fight a little bit too much here and end up giving away an extra casualty, but they're picking out Pasha and maybe want to try and go for this guy. Plantimos, he's got the cheese and another life, so he's pretty happy right now as Pikachu. He needs to get a little bit more HP, but the Void going down there, man, that was so close to him coming back and being able to actually take that fight. And, you know, if he gets that time walk off, then he gets so much health back. And there's actually still a fight there, because obviously your Void's alive. And now he wouldn't have lost anybody, but... Any buybacks there? Nope, no buybacks. So, again, you know, these low-kill fights really kind of interesting. Maybe that's J178 struggling to push their advantage enough. Oh, wow. Look at this tower. This is, this is a bloodlust split-shot tower. Jesus Christ. Look at it go. It's just wrecking everybody. King and Wraith King caught up on the high ground right now, but Lantimos, he's got a second life. The tower is gone, but the slow, the upheaval. Oh, Wraith King, his first life is finally gonna go. He's got a second life. He's got a cheese as well. He's just turning around. He's just manning up on Tiny right now. Tiny going to get hexed through also. As the stun is out onto the Shadow Fiend. That was a low strike array coming down. Now Crystallize going in deep. He's got the BKB as well. Shadow Fiend being left behind, and he's going to get picked off. Padashura trying to come in with the epicenter, but it's not really doing enough, and he's just fed himself away as well. Happy Dororo being taken down by the tree toss. NaVi, they're on a roll right now, and they're looking for Big Num as well. Big Num trying to run himself out. His magical go with the alley-oop to help out Crystallize, close the gap. Time walk forward, smash him up. It's an ultra kill for Crystallize. And that is NaVi with the big comeback as they only lose their tower in the middle lane. And J178 getting a little bit too ahead of themselves. They push up onto the high ground there, onto Magical, but they did not have the damage to even slightly take him down. I mean, you initiate on these big tanky heroes, and you're setting yourself up for a really, really tricky fight in the face of Void respawns. It becomes a full 5-on-5 fight without your reincarnation on the Wraith King. Things just got a little bit tricky, a little bit too fast, and of course the Shadow Fiend coming a little bit too far forward there, unable to really kind of find his potential in that fight. And they have the buybacks. They're gonna actually use them now, at least on the Sand King. Lantimos happy to sit on the front lines. They're managing to save it looks like, on their Shadow Fiend, provided NaVi don't re-engage here. But of course they have the Chronosphere. They could very well do such a thing. Lantimos just trying to burn people with his Radiance on the front lines, holding back the side of NaVi. And Pashu's just like, yeah, I don't care. I'm just going to sit on the front lines now as the double wards come down. The Chronosphere coming down to the Sand King as well. The BKB from the Void going to stop him getting stunned up by anybody right now as the Sand King is going to get killed for a second time. That is a dieback. Lantimos just trying to find any target right now as the stuns are out. The stuns are out. The Void is dead. Crystallize finished off. That is a big kill. Now they're going to try and look for more. Happy Dororo trying to chase him down, but he is not a fast boy in the slightest. Sameko teeping out in the trees and Pasha as well. And it looks like it's going to be a full escape. No one found other than the Void, but the Void's still pretty big, and I really feel like J178 want this buyback, but then again, they're the ones without their Sand King as well, so probably won't get anything from this. It's going to be a full reset. This is such a tug of war. I mean, it's a really exciting game as well, despite the fact that, as I was saying, these are kills, these are fights. There's no kills coming out, and that's because everything is just so close, you know? Both teams kind of just playing around each other. It's not cat and mouse. It is cat and cat. Right now, well, Leshrac being killed like a street cat in the mid lane. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm fine with Leshrac's dying in some situations. When you don't have buyback and you're just kind of sitting in mid, that's a little bit of a questionable one for me, a bit of a mistake. But now they have the Hex out onto the Tiny, baiting him in with the Rune a little bit, but they're struggling so much to get the damage off. They need a little bit more, but there's a crit coming in from Palanthamos, and now the Yule's, the ultimate, coming down onto Pasha, doing absolutely nothing, because Tasha is just a big, fat Ogre Magi. And look at this quick little piggy as Palanthamos finishes off Pasha. And that's two pretty big kills for J178. So again, you know, that rope is tugged in the other direction. Now J178 in a little bit of a good position, maybe looking towards mid, maybe looking towards top, or maybe just looking to keep on expanding upon their map presence right now. As a skeleton army coming on the bottom shrine. Look at the boys. Me and the boys going to take a shrine. Get him. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a quality content. Get him, boys. Let this, I mean, there's nothing else going on in case you guys are worried about the rest of the map. They're just kind of posturing. NaVi are hiding in their base, so we'll continue watching the high quality Dota action here. Get him, boys. Get him. Yeah! Woo! Alright, good stuff. Another will get done. So, 25 talents. Are we there yet? Yes, we are. That's a beautiful 40% cooldown reduction on Pikachu. 6-second Shadow Razors, 13.2 seconds Scythe of Vice, 42-second BKB, 13-second Yours, 18-second Shivas, 9-second Blink. All good stuff. All good stuff. And Palanthamos, he's actually got the Bloodthorn queued up as well, so opting to go for a little bit of Disable. Even on top of the Shadow Fiends, by the Vice, still don't feel like they've had enough. Honestly, I think I would kind of like to see a nullifier rather on the Wraith King, although it's a bit of an awkward item in that like kind of the stats and everything, you know, aren't really fantastic, and the active as well is nowhere near as good as the Bloodthorn. Obviously, you get the crits on the Bloodthorn, so it increases your damage a lot. Quick little pause up, but the nullifier just stopping BKBs coming off seems like it would be fantastic this game, because they're always able to, you know, just get someone locked down on the front lines of the fight for a good few seconds, but then off times when Na'Vi do win the fights, it's that person who gets locked down, surviving, getting their BKB off, and then turning around and winning the fight. So very, very kind of hard choice to make, I would say, Nullifier versus Bloodthorn, but plan's always good, especially in the later games when these BKBs are getting low duration as well. Meanwhile, Pedishura has gone for the late game Guardian's Greaves. I believe he didn't have that before. Blink, Veil, Hyper Insight, and then back for the Greaves later. Able to purge off the Fatal Bond in the late game is very, very useful, especially with a Wraith King in the game who's just going to be wants to be a damage tank in the front lines. Oh, Pikachu says, sorry, wait. Oh, quick repause, okay. Everybody, you know, waiting. Apologies all across the board. I don't really know what's going on here, but we're just waiting. So I want to talk, I mean, I haven't really talked about Navi's items, to be honest, the poor guys, the poor team. Void, he's looking for a Satanic, which is going to be very good. This is going to be the status resistance. I mean, I'm not really too bothered about the actual lifesteal side of it. I'm not sure that's important for Void with Time Walk and everything like that. It's all right. It's not amazing, but I mean, the status resistance is absolutely phenomenal for the Void. So, and also, you know, that's not something which can be, you know, purged off or anything like that or played around. Ogre Magi has finished off his side of the Vice as we saw in the last fight. Didn't unfortunately get the multicast on it, which is unlucky. 75% for 2 times. Warlock. He's managed to grab himself a 4-staff. Wow. Saneko. He's got money. Alright, and the G is cooled. Lena, she's just hanging around with an Aghanim Scepter. And a lot of gold, actually, in the bank for Lena. Meanwhile, the Tinies we've seen with the Aghanims and Chrysalis and going for that full Deso is going to be absolutely horrifying in these fights. You do have to be careful of that. Of course. There's going to be a big difference if they manage to get a huge chrono, and now they have the tree volley to follow up with as well. You know, previously, Crystallize gets these big chronos off, and there's just no follow-up damage. There's very little they can throw into that. You know, Golem is not a huge amount of damage coming out, and Smoke's coming forwards. Plantimos so happy to sit on the front lines with his team behind him on that high ground. And they might see his creeps getting blocked in the mid lane, actually, as Saneko just walks through them. Usher up onto the high ground, now getting a smoke pop. The Hex comes out, gets the nice double Hex. They manage to catch the Undying and the Leshrac immediately initiating onto Bignum. Bignum, though, he's surviving. He is inside the shrine. He's actually living through this. Meanwhile, the Chrono comes down the backlands onto the Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend, though, he's not dying. The Greaves helping him out a little bit, but finally with the stun to follow through after the BKB ends, they get the kill to Pikachu, but Pikachu buys back into this one. Meanwhile, Crystal has just picked up on the backlands. That's going for the TP out. The fight is over for Na'Vi, but they're also going to lose Saneko as he is not able to get himself away. And that is that. I mean, again, you know, has so many of these fights. There's just not many people dying, but with Pasha jumping onto Bignum and Happy Diarara, and neither of them pop, neither of them die. They both just survive through the entire engagement, and then they turn around. I mean, the Chrono was nice onto the Shadow Fiend, I guess, but they have to use it on him. They have to use it on this BKB Shadow Fiend every single time to stop him getting this Requiem off. Otherwise, their damage is just so little. Becomes very difficult to do anything. So you're in this really awkward position for Na'Vi, where they just can't get the advantage in the team fights. They can't find the heroes they want as Plantimos. He's pretending to be a dire hero right now. He's going to eat up these creeps. They want this buyback, but unfortunately their creeps are a very long way away because what the hell? Okay, no one dealt with the golems. They don't have creeps. Questionable. Yeah, this Tiny as well really needs to start getting some more work done in these fights. I mean, the fact that he didn't kill the Leshrac there, you know, he managed to avoid out Free volley and just go for the shrine. That should never happen. Bignum able to survive. Plantimos just BKBing off the Light Strike array. Daedalus now finished as the 2 times is going to come out once again. I mean, this Wraith King though, he's superiorly tanky and he's got 2 lives. So, oh hell yeah. The 4 times multicast on Solar Crest, that's what we're looking for. Such value.
I'll take your tribute. Regeneration!
Wow, Lena doing up the refresher, it looks like.
Dire are scanning.
And Pasha with the multicast and Solar Crest, that's not what you want. Palantos is in the front lines here. They seem to think there's a team behind him, but there's not just yet. He's taking his time to get in right now. They are able to just unload a bit of free damage onto him, but that armlet, that health, that AC, very difficult to bring him down.
Your king thanks you.
Now the gold advantage is non-existent. There is nobody with a win right now. As NaVi just coming swinging backwards and forwards. I'm so close. Ooh. Seneko grabs a double damage. Nice. Let's get that damage on Seneko. Hit the Wraith King. Go on. Get him. Get him. Oh, yeah. There we are. Okay, still waiting. As in comes a tree volley onto Palantimos, but it's just doing nothing. That was underwhelming. I thought that might actually get him down, but Palantimos is still alive. He still hasn't lost that first life.
Kingdom asserts.
But the BKB was spent. Again, we wait. The Chronosphere, just about catches up Palantimos, but it's only Palantimos. Crystallized goes for it blind, and that was not the result they wanted. However, BTU running into the front lines, and Palantimos coming back as well. The Epicenter trying to chase onto NaVi here. The stun comes out, but that's a pretty nice golem, landing onto 3. Magical trying to follow up with the tree volley as well, but not really finding the damage as in comes a Requiem, forcing back NaVi. Seneko might be the first one to fall as Magnum chases him down. That'll be a successful kill. It's a blink out from the Shadow Fiend, also allowing him to escape. Meanwhile, Magical, he's found in the creep camp. BKB turning around with the tree volley, trying to fight up into them right now, but it's just not going to happen for him, and he is just going to get hunted down as jfshfh178 take another successful engagement. The Chronosphere blind onto the high ground. I mean, Crystallized just getting impatient there, trying to make the play, and to be honest with you, if he'd have made that play and he'd have gotten a bunch of people in that chrono, which kind of was a little bit unlucky for him that he didn't, then I would have been saying something completely different, you know. I'd be saying like, wow, what a fantastic read from Crystallized there, but because he doesn't get it, you know, you end up saying things like, well, he just ran out of patience and he went for a silly play, which I would probably place it somewhere in the middle, you know. It's high risk, high reward, but in the end, you know, it ends up being the risk. But they did have buybacks. The only thing they're really going to lose with is Roshan and, an Aghanims on Palantimos, not on Pikachu. Interesting. Okay. Shadowfiend has the Aegis. He's also got the cheese. That was the third Rosh, I believe. So no refresher shards unless my eyes do deceive me. Yep. Still we wait. Still we wait. 48 minutes into this game. No... I mean, well, I say no real front footer right now. It's definitely J178 who are looking like the team in control. They've pretty much been winning every fight, but just struggling to really close out the game. Trying to force buybacks has been a little bit trickier for them. But, you know, now with the Aegis in hand, I imagine we're going to see much more aggressive gameplay from them. They just need to get all of these waves pushed in, though. Bottom lane currently being pushed out by Zayats. Also has a refresher orb, by the way. Zayats, Aghanim's refresher orb, Lena. Zap, zap. And, I mean, hitting neutrals, it's, and there's not much else for them to hit, to be fair, but I really feel like you want to be getting some pressure on the high ground right now, but they do have the buybacks on NaVi. We also, something which isn't mentioned very often, but the boots of travel are really important to look at this point in the game for the aggressive team. J178 do not have boots of travel up on anybody right now, which means their buybacks are going to be much less important, because if you don't have the boots of travel, you're not buying back and getting back into the fight at any time soon. So maybe that's what they're looking for. Maybe they just want to hold off for the time being and see if they can find a fight in a different way and continue choking Navi out of the map a bit. Look at Blantimos, just 1 versus 5. No problems, you know? No problems. But it is a problem because he's going to lose his life to the tree volley. And they might look for the second one here. Yeah, they're just going to go for the Chronosphere. There's a 1 Laguna Blade coming out. She's going to use the second one as well. The double zap pitch. He's dead. Going to be in the Wraith form for a little bit, but yeah. So that's an interesting one. Maybe you should have paid a little bit more respect to the Dire side there, as Plantimos takes a little bit of a clumsy death. Oh wow, Magical really wants to find a way to end this game. He really wants to take a fight. And to be fair, I am 100% on board with that pickup. I am 200% on board with that pickup. And he is in a bit of trouble right now. Crystallize is behind him. Can come forwards and just kind of force them off maybe a little bit. But they're not really afraid of this Faceless Void. They might not have the Wraith King, but J178 still not afraid of a fight. But maybe they should be. Wraith King, he has got the buyback should he need it. As down comes the ultimate. The golems are dropped. That means they will both their big ultimates are gone now, however. Wraith King buys back into this one, so we're going to have a fight. And now they're trying to get themselves out. NaVi realize that they've got what they came for. If they can escape without losing too much here, then the nice 2-man stun is going to make sure they get both of the supports. Well, that wasn't a support. That was Pasha. That was a 3 position. And he's going to get finished off as well. Meanwhile, there is a golem going towards the middle lane. He wants to try and make some use out of this life. And Petashara can't really do anything against this Warlock golem, especially with that magic immunity. Not entirely sure how the Warlock gets to level 25. Well, I guess everybody's pretty much 25 now, right? Yep. Asha has the Fire Blast damage. 3 toss charges on the Tiny. Crystallize has a backtrack. We see previously. Meg has a magic community on golems. Reincarnation Fire Blast we've seen plenty of times. Dying. Ah, there we go. Reincarnation, as expected. And we knew about the 40% cooldown and the 50% sandstorm, slow and blind. Yeah, blind's an interesting one. I can't even remember what the blind does. Does it affect your vision or?
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant structures
who knows?
are fortified.
Meanwhile, there's a push coming in on the top lane. They're trying to get these buybacks right now. Now they're taking down the tower. Bignum, he's oh no, the important 25 isn't actually there. Just playing around this tombstone right now. Palantimos might be losing his first life. Zayats, he doesn't have the refresher though. Oh, Shadow Fiend, there we go. They're going to bring him down. Move one of the items. There we go. In comes the Octarine Core, and there's a Chronosphere coming down, bringing out the Big Num. Big Num's going to be dropped, and I look immediately over towards the Shadow Fiend, who's been hexed up, but he gets a BKB off. Looking forwards, trying to find Zayats. The Hex comes out. The ultimate as well being popped down. Down goes one, and Crystallize also gets dropped by Palantimos, and the rest of J178 in the backlines here. Magical doing his best to fire in the volleys. He's actually changed his mind and gone for a second crit here. It's a toss-up Pikachu, trying to control him up, but Pasha is the one who's going to fall here. Does have buyback. This is all the buybacks coming out from NaVi right now. They take down the Warlock, but he's got the Warlock upon death. And there's a buyback. There's from Leshrak as well. He's going to try and come back into this right now as the Hex is out onto the Wraith King, but he's got a second life, and they've given him the trees as well. Pikachu giving up his cheese. He's got a BKB when he lands back onto the ground as well. Could even blink up into the high ground if he was feeling really ballsy, but not doing so for now. They're holding back, and in he goes. Pikachu going in deep, looking for the Ogre Magi. Ogre Magi with the dieback here is going to go down for a second time. NaVi on the precipice of losing this game. They'll force back the Tiny, trying to get Magical back into the base, but I mean, they're in their fountain, and their base is being taken. The buildings, they're running out. They're going for the tier 4s. They're going for the victory. Jace178 are actually looking to end this one. They're going to try and initiate round the side, but the stun comes through onto both of them. Crystallize can't get into the fight. Now he comes into the middle, just trying to fight up right now. It's into the Plantimos. They go. Plantimos has a second life. The Undying goes down, but he's got a second life. Tiny's playing Juggle the Heroes, but they're just not getting enough damage off. The Burst Strike come through and kills off Magical. Magical is dead, but the Void's still alive, still fighting on the front lines here as J178 Well, they're holding. They're just so hard to kill off. Everybody just seems to be popping back to life, popping a cheese, coming down for a second go. The stun 2 onto both of the cores. Magical needs to get himself out. The Hex comes through onto the Tiny. Tiny, he's nearly dead. He's nearly going down, and he's not going to be dying just yet. Crystallize on the front lines, and down goes your Tiny. He's dead without buyback. Faceless getting into the mix, but the GG is called. The game is over. J178 through the open qualifiers come in to take out NaVi. Jesus, what a game. 54 minutes in, a tug of war, a very tight match, but 178 finally managed to finish the job. Goodness gracious. That was a long, long matchup. And in the end there, how do you fight into a team which has so much? So, I mean, you know, the Undying, they managed to take him down. Oh, he comes back to life. The Shadow Fiend, they managed to take him down, and he comes back to life. Wraith King goes down, he comes back to life. Everybody has Wraith form as well, so even when they're dead, they still take a hell of a long time to die. NaVi, they were just fighting ghosts. They were just fighting immortals. It just felt like, doesn't matter how much they throw in, it didn't make a difference. That was really, really interesting, and it's super strange draft from jfshfh. Well, no, it wasn't a strange draft at all, but it just in the super late game, it felt like this really weird immortal draft where they just weren't losing heroes, and they just keep on popping people up, and you know, Bignum and Pedashura, despite being the vulnerable ones in these fights, somehow they were still getting off a lot of everything they needed to do in these engagements. You know, Bignum was the first one to die, but then he buys back and comes in. Wow. I also want to have a look. I mean, I think the damage is probably pretty evenly split amongst this side, right? Like, yeah, 41,000 on the Shadow Fiend and 40,000 on Wraith King, and then 33,000 on Sand King. A little bit less than I expect on the Leshrac, but, you know, he was pretty squishy. And the building damage, of course, from these big damage dealers. That was, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? You got the Void, you got the Warlock. I said in the draft, it was one of the first things I said when they picked these two heroes. These are two big cooldowns you have to work towards, you know? There's two ways you can do that. You can either bait out fights, or you can just be immortal. Simple. Live twice, and it doesn't matter when you drop this golem. It doesn't matter when you drop the Chronosphere, because everybody's just going to pop back up again and keep on fighting. The sustain was absolutely insane. So J178 do take a very tactical, long-lived, strategic victory versus NaVi. And now coming into game 2, NaVi have to fight with their backs up against the wall. My name is Nomad. I hope you're enjoying the cast so far. We're going to have a full day of CIS Dota here on BTS4. I'm going to be back with game number 2 with J178 versus NaVi very shortly.